So, in one of the biggest twists of season 3, we found out that these two weren't really junkies after all, and in fact they were actually undercover feds that were trying to take down Dushane, the big fish. And Sarah, the female fake junkie, she said that Dushane has been keeping an extremely low profile, and Lee, the male fake junkie, he was like, no one even knows where Dushane lives. That's what he said. And that's one of the things I like about Dushane. That's one of his strengths. He's very low key. He won't show his face in the streets too much, because the more low key you are in this lifestyle, the harder it is for the feds to find you. He'll delegate tasks to Jack or Driz or Kieran or people like that, but behind the scenes, he's the one calling the shots. He's the one putting the strings. And so as a result, he doesn't do too much of the dirty work. Unless the job is personal though, like for example when he killed Hayes. He knew that Hayes played a big part in killing his cousin Donovan, Hayes and Sugar. And so he took care of Sugar, he got someone to take care of Sugar, and he killed Hayes himself. He was the one that pulled the trigger on Hayes, because that was personal to him. But generally though, he won't do too much of the dirty work. He'll get someone else to do that. But again, that's smart because it makes it harder for the feds to find him. And for some of you guys I know some of you guys watch Power. For those of you that watch Power, you'll understand this reference. One thing I've low-key clocked, here, is that Dushane is quite similar to Ghost from Power. There's quite a few similarities there. That's one thing that I've clocked. Obviously, there's many differences too. Dushane is not exactly like Ghost. And yeah, there's many differences, but there are some similarities there though. For example, they're both quite calculated. They both like to think several moves ahead. They both like to maintain a low profile, etc. But anyway though, back to the two undercover feds. One thing they did which is quite smart was that they managed to hide their true motives and conceal their intentions. And that's one of the 48 laws of power, to conceal your intentions. Obviously, they appeared as junkies, as drug addicts, to conceal, to hide the fact that they're undercover feds, knowing that appearing under the guise of a junkie makes people like Driz or Jack or any roadman in general less suspicious of them. And that gave them more power, because people are less likely to see them coming. Other roadmen in general are less likely to see them coming. And any roadman that sees them just thinks, that they're the regular local junkies. They probably just want drugs. They're less likely to think that they're undercover feds. One big thing though I want to speak about as well is that in the trailer, Sarah says to someone, we don't see who she's talking to, but she says, we're gonna put him away and you're gonna help us with that. So I suspect that someone is trying to snitch on Dushane. So let's look at who it could be if that's the case though. Could it be Shelly? I mean, it's possible, but I don't think so. I don't think she would do that to Dushane unless the feds brought her daughter into it. If the feds used her love for her daughter against her, and on top of that, if they had evidence that Dushane is selling drugs and so they threatened to take Shelly's daughter away from her unless she snitched on Dushane, I mean, a scenario like that wouldn't shock me. I'm not saying it's gonna happen, I'm not, but it wouldn't shock me though if they try to blackmail her like that. I'm just throwing that possibility out there. Let's look at who else it could be. Could it be Jamie? We all know that Jamie's gonna be vexed at Dushane. He's gonna be vexed because Dushane called the feds and told him about the bag of guns which wasn't his, and he set Jamie up to go to prison. And Jamie's not gonna get over that, especially since he got Jamie's little brothers involved. He's gonna think that was a low blow. So possibly as an act of revenge, could Jamie be working with Lee and Sarah as an informant to snitch on Dushane and put him in jail? I mean, it's possible, but I don't think Jamie's gonna go through that route. I don't think Jamie's gonna snitch on Dushane. It's possible, but I don't think he will. I don't think it's Jack either. I don't think it's Jack, because she's proved her loyalty many times, and I'm gonna roll out Sully too. I don't see either of them working with the feds, being an informant, snitching on Dushane. I don't see it happening. They've both proved their loyalty to Dushane, and neither of them have snaked Dushane like that. Could it be Kieran? I mean, with him, we don't know too much about him, so I can't say yes, I can't say no. It's just an I don't know with him. He was only in a few scenes of season 3. We don't know much about him, so yeah, I'll leave it at that with him. Could it be one of the kids, for example, Steph or Ats? And if season 4 starts off at a point where Ats is still alive, like, even if it does, I don't think Ats is gonna be snitching on Dushane and stuff like that. I don't think Ats is gonna do that, and I don't think Steph is gonna do that either. But a caveat I'll add to that though is that Top Boy does have a history. I mean, the feds in Top Boy do have a history of interrogating kids. If you guys remember back in season 2, I believe, with Michael, the feds, they got in his head. They got in his head and they got him to snitch. They lied to him, they blackmailed him, they got him to snitch on Dushane. So could we see history repeat itself with one of the other kids, whether that be Steph or Ats or someone like that? I don't think so. I don't see Steph or Ats snitching on Dushane. I mean, I could be wrong. But I don't see it happening. Now, one thing I want to talk about though is this board that we saw towards the last moments of season 3, and it wasn't quite clear. For example, like the writing wasn't clear on the board. The writing wasn't clear, and some of the pictures weren't clear as well. Most of the pictures were clear, but some of them weren't. But especially the writing though, the writing wasn't really clear. So I'm just gonna go over the information on the board that you can read. Starting off with Driz. Next to his name it says missing, and I want to give a shout out to one of my subscribers. He goes by the username 774_Alan. So big up to him. I'll put his comment here because he pointed out one thing that I hadn't even noticed at the time as well, which was that next to Driz's name it says missing, and he commented that under my Is Driz Still Alive video, Is Driz Dead video, and that got me thinking as well. Could that be a clue that he's still alive? The fact that he says missing next to his name rather than dead, could that be a clue that he's still alive? I don't know. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. Just above that though, here it says Dushane's flat with a question mark, and it has his girlfriend's name, Shelly, also with a question mark. So as of right now, I believe that they don't know what Shelly looks like, because if they did, I think they would have a picture of her on the board, because they've got many other pictures there. All they know is her name, I think. And I think that's there. I think it's done in that way on purpose. Yeah, I don't think that's by random chance. I think, yeah, it's done in that way on purpose. Why they don't have a picture of Shelly. I mean, unless I missed it, but I don't think they had a picture of Shelly there. So I think that's got me. It's got me. I don't know. There's a lot of thoughts going on in my mind right now. There's also pictures of Jack, Kieran, Dushane, Sully, Dushane and Sully together, and there's some little kid as well, but is unclear. The picture's unclear, so you can't really properly tell who it is. But I think that's Shelly's daughter. I could be wrong, but I think that's Shelly's daughter. But yeah, from all those pics though, make of that what you will. I think that by the end of season 4 though, I don't think Dushane will get arrested. I don't. I think Lee and Sarah, they're gonna fail in their attempt to arrest him, and if they arrest Dushane, he won't be in prison for long. I think he'll manage to find a way out within a few episodes max, but I don't see him going to prison anyway. I think Lee and Sarah, they might get close to arresting Dushane, but Dushane, he's gonna be sneaky, he's gonna be cagey, so he'll find a way to avoid prison. I could be wrong, but that's just what I think will happen in season 4. If anything, I think Dushane, he might want to leave the drug game. I think he's going to want to leave by the end of the season. We are 1 day out from a long awaited new season. It's been way too long. 2.5 years we've had to wait for a new season of Top Boy. So I'm amped up, I'm excited. Let's go. 1 day out. Yeah, it's crazy. 1 day out. I know most of you are gonna binge watch the entire season, and to be honest, I don't blame you, because I'm probably gonna do that as well. Yeah, most of us are gonna binge watch it, but yeah, it's gonna be mad, it's gonna be epic, there's gonna be a lot of plot twists, it's gonna be crazy, and I'm looking forward to it. I also want to say thanks to everyone that subscribed to my channel. Thanks to everyone that's left positive comments under any of my videos. I appreciate it all. And I know my video on my theory on Driz still being alive, because if you guys have watched that video, I think it's called Top Boy Is Driz Dead. I mentioned in that video that I think Driz is still alive, and I explained why. That video under the comments, it struck up a lot of debate. Some people agree with me and some people disagree with me, and that's fine as well. But yeah, it's quite interesting. So if you've not seen that video, check it out. But yeah, that's it for this one, guys. So yeah, in a bit.